That, let's go across to our next guest on the show. Piyush Pandey joins in. He tracks the telecom space. Vodafone Idea obviously was in focus in yesterday's trading session, down more than 10% after a potential approval to the AGR dues package for debt-ridden telecom, for the debt-ridden telecom company. And the total AGR liability has been frozen at near 87,695 crore rupees, which means that the amount due in total will not be higher than this one. The moratorium will be for a 5-year period. Over and above that, post-markets, we had the notification that the global promoter, Vodafone, or global parent, also gave about 5,300 crore rupees to the company. Piyush, how do you read the judgment that came in from the cabinet and read that in tandem with the stock price move that happens? Because prima facie, it seems that the amount has been frozen. That's a positive. There has been a moratorium. That's a positive. But the stock was down 20% from the highs.
See, broadly, we can say that the relief was somewhat less than what the street was expecting.
Okay, in what sense?
In fact, the market was expecting close to 50% cut in the AGR dues. But I think they have frozen the dues at close to 87,000 crores, which remains very high. And I would say even after this relief, Vodafone would need to raise a fresh equity fund, a massive amount to ramp up its capex, to strengthen its balance sheet, because the other two players are just too strong, like Bharti Airtel and Reliance Jio. So I would say a relief which will help Vodafone to survive, but not sufficient to thrive. Apart from the relief, Vodafone would need a very massive round of fundraise, especially equity fundraise.
Right, but they also left the door open for the DOT to decide on the actual dues, right? Even though they've frozen the amount. So is that, would you assign any weightage to that?
Yeah, I would say any reduction in dues, I would say very low probability might be. We can assign 10-15% probability to any cut in the AGR dues. But I would say as of now, it looks like Vodafone would have to go for another round of equity fundraise because debt remains at 2 lakh crores. And with current cash EBITDA of roughly 10,000 crores, which is hardly sufficient to do its capex. So as of now, it looks like company will survive, obviously. But because the government wants to have a 3+1 structure. But now I think it's up to Vodafone how they want to use this situation and urgently raise one big fund.
Yeah, no, I think so. If you have you penciled in the numbers here in terms of this 5-year moratorium, 10-year repayment period? How much fund? I mean, what's the equity value? I mean, if you've done the numbers now after all of this, Piyush.
See, for Vodafone, I would say actually at the current share price, it trades at roughly 12 times FY27 EV/EBITDA. So I would say, for Vodafone, as long as it continues to lose market share, as long as it continues to lose customers, it would be difficult, I would say. And plus, with this 5-year moratorium, and if we take NPV of these dues, which has been delayed by 5-year period, it roughly comes down by AGR dues comes down by around 25 to 30% if you take the NPV value because of this postponement. But I would say even after this, their cash EBITDA is just too low. So I would say at the current valuations, because the stock had gone up primarily because of this. Because the street was expecting a significant relief. But as of now, it looks like Vodafone remains in a difficult situation operationally, financially, and especially other two big peers have a much better balance sheet. They're getting market share.
Indus Tower, you have coverage or any view?
See, yeah, I have a coverage of Indus Tower. So broadly, I would say it is neutral for Indus Tower. Primarily because, for Indus Tower, Vodafone needs to survive. It may or may not thrive, but it needs to survive. And with this announcement, I think Vodafone would survive. It would do its capex, some capex on 4G and 5G front, and of course, it can pick up once it raises another fund. Plus, also, I think the receivables have significantly come down from, Vodafone for Indus Towers. So probably I would say neutral because the street was even expecting that Vodafone would get a significant relief. But I would say at the current evaluation, Indus Tower looks very attractive, I would say. So we are building in that, the tenancy factor for Indus Tower should improve from current 1.65x level. Plus Plus, I would say, like, say, as the 5G network gets ramped up by both Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea, we can see meaningful increase in number of towers and co-locations. So in the start tactical bit in the sector, apart from, like, say, what we prefer, like, say, Bharti Airtel.
Yeah, got that. Do you like Bharti still remains a top bet for you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
One of the triggers for next year would be a potential Reliance Jio issue, listing, or maybe, separate. I don't know how they unlock the value there. Would it be an IPO? Would it be an OFS? Or would it be just a separate listing of the two? What kind of value would you ascribe to it?
See, for Reliance Jio, like, say, we are building close to $150 billion. And that is roughly close to at the valuation of 13 times on September 27 EBITDA. So $150 billion. And of course, we're also building in tariff hike, say, over next 3-4 months. So tariff hike, that will drive higher ARPUs. Plus, I would say, with this just two players, they have a tremendous pricing power. And because of these two players, highly concentrated markets here, the multiples in the sector have increased over the last year or so. So it would be difficult to compare like historical valuation multiples, because we expect that with the current industry structure, valuation multiple for both Reliance Jio and Bharti Airtel would remain elevated.
But do you think would that have an impact on the other listed players at large, largely because now there will be a cleaner play on the telecom space? Right now, if anyone wants to play the telecom space, Bharti remains the only clean pick here, right?
Yes. So there are two things, like, say, for Bharti Airtel, I think they are more efficient in terms of capital allocation. Even with their 5G play, they have done it through, like, say, NSA, which involved lower capex, and their ROC profile is somewhat better than say Reliance Jio. On the other hand, Reliance Jio, I would say, the largest telco in India, plus primarily on a 4G and 5G network structure, and plus they continue to get market share. So in a way, I would say both look good, and even I would say, even for the Reliance Jio, the way they are gaining customers every month on month, I think, plus tariff hikes. So I would say, in my case, I would give a higher weightage to Bharti and slightly lower weightage to Reliance Jio in a telecom portfolio.
All right. Wish you all the best. Thanks for joining us this morning, Piyush. And good getting those views across. So that's telecom in focus there. I think the